Hi there, and welcome to the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast with myself, Chris Piercy from Good Enough Scenery, and Stephen from When I Can Hobby. How are you today?
I am actually fantastic today. I'm
Is
feeling
that
good today, I am.
is that because you just told me you get to have a lion tomorrow?
No, actually. Well, it is that, but there's a couple of other things. Firstly, we got a game in last week, which I was happy with, and it was interesting. And secondly, I got to see pictures of your amazing new board, which I'm very, very excited about.
Yeah, and that totally seems like it was a setup thing. It was not, but
Oh, no, 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 it wasn't. I'll be honest. I was looking at it before we got onto the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, pause, go to Good Enough Scenery's TikTok page, see his board, and then come back to it because it's 6 foot by 4 foot, isn't it?
yeah, it's a big old beast.
Yeah,
And tall as well,
no,
and and only going to get taller.
it's getting taller.
Maybe I told you there was plot twists.
No, I know. I saw a little hole in the top. I did. So
Things are coming. You know, it's going to be good. But yeah, we had a couple of games on Thursday which didn't go very well for me. But
no. So how did it go for you, Chris?
badly.
What was the first game? Was the
So we played Claim the Treasure first of all, where you have 6 light objects around the board, and you have to go around and pick them up. And if you kill someone who's and you go on until the ending conditions are that once a company is broken on a roll of a 1 or 2, the game can end. And I made. Well, I had a combination of about 2 or 3 bad decisions, including inexplicably deciding to choose to do one particular combat first, which meant I was trapped. I was like, why have I just done that? Like, you idiot! And then my rolling was horrible. It was one of those days where it's like, really? Like,
yeah, no, your dice were not in your favour. They were not.
they did not like me. And then, but you know, it was a fun one. And your third oldest was there, or was it second or second oldest?
Second oldest, yeah. So
Yeah,
she
so
was
she was there,
what?
and she seemed to enjoy it. So you know that was fun.
No, that's good.
And then we did. And
Troll
so
one.
I lost the first one, and then the second game we played Tame the Beast, which is where you face off against a cave troll. How did that one go?
There was no one left on the board but a troll. To be fair, you were the last one standing, you know. But yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, because I thought, right, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get the troll towards me, and I'm just going to go for it. And first turn, I managed to get it, so I had 6 dice to roll against him, but the troll had the fight value. So,
Yeah.
Obviously, troll rolls a 6, auto wins. It's like no heroic strike or anything yet. But yeah, it just kept getting 6s. And then I kind of changed tactics and went, well, I'm just going to kill you and get some wounds. So I started killing you instead. And then I think there was 2 times when it didn't roll a 6, and one time I had to walk away from the table and kind of yelp because I think the troll got 4 high. I had might on a couple of dice, and I managed to roll on 4 dice. I managed to roll 3 1s and a 2. So I was just like, just not my day. But got out of the house, had some fun, had some banter. So it was fine.
It was indeed. I enjoyed. I always enjoy throwing dice around with you, so it's always a good laugh. Like, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Right. So start off today by talking about the second scenario listed in the book, which is a show of strength. And we can go into the minutiae details of this if you like, but it's quite simple. Quite simple, really. You see whose leader kills the most models, and the game goes on until one of you is quartered. So that's about the long and short of it. What was your? I mean, presumably you've played it.
Yeah, I have played it. It's so what it is it's an interesting game because you literally need to protect your leader, but put your leader into as much combat as possible, and it. When I played it, I literally just put my leader in the middle pack of my guys running around the board as a singular unit, just going round, and then whenever coming into combat, throw my leader up to the front. It's it's an interesting one on the killing each other game. It just it just it's different tactics. That's how I played it. How would you play it? I mean, mine is protect the leader and get out as close to a combat as possible, then push the leader to the front, and then try and have as many multiple combats going on, but awarding all the wounds over to the leader is my tactic to it.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting scenario because I think that depending on whether you're early in your company's progression or late in your company's progression is going to determine massively how you end up playing it. It also depends on what company you've got, and it also depends on which Sorry, I can't remember what I said then. It depends on what company you've got, and something else that my brain just went completely blank. My cat just did something weird. I was just like, it's got a computer.
Your cat made me jump out of my skin because I literally thought she came through the window from looking at you on the camera there.
Just came through via osmosis. No, yeah. Sorry, it depends whether it's early game or late game, and it depends on the company that you've gone for as well. Because if you get this early on, like if you're being honest about it and you're rolling for your scenarios, and you roll this early on in the proceedings, and you're playing as Moria, and you've got just basically a shitty goblin that's got might. It's like, and you're up against Iron-Hill dwarves. It's like, wow.
I mean, to be fair, it's like it's a different topic, but it's like if you rolled out to play a game, I wouldn't play it because it's not a fair game. It's got to be equally kind of matched leaders.
No, because look, it's one of the scenarios that and you just play it. But I think that in general, let's look at that specific scenario. If I was in a situation where I've got 11 goblins against your 5 dudes from Iron Hills, I'd be getting a couple of. I'd be getting goblins to try and tie up the heroes, and leaving my shitty goblin leader to come along and hopefully manage to roll a 6 and a 4 or whatever it is he needs to roll to kill someone. It's just not going to be great, but try and make it so that try and avoid your leader, but tie up the sergeants and get my leader into kind of combats with a whole bunch of them. But it's not that when you've got terrible strength, well, not terrible strength, but this average strength at strength 3, when you're going to be defense 5 at best, and just no real, and your fight value's 2. It's not great.
It's not a great thing.
Yeah, but thing is that if you're early game, then you're not going to have many models, so it only takes a couple of fluff dice rolls. The other thing I might do would be to just all out just go for the leader and go, all right, okay, early game, you have 1 attack. I'm going to try and get 5 or 6 guys on you, get you trapped. Because that's the I think if that was a scenario, I would do my absolute best to kill your leader as early as possible, which might play exactly into your hands. But yeah, it's a difficult one. But whereas if you're playing as when we're playing as Far Harad and you've got someone who's strength 4,
on a camel.
Well, if I had a camel at that point, but then.
So, out of that, then, round up on the scenario. So, my way of playing it is put them all together, surround my leader, and try and charge into combat and just have this one mass running around. It would be amazing. That's the one time that you wish you had your leader was spear support or something like that, because that would be. It could always be in combat, but always just one behind, just poking in from behind, So, but that's my way if I was to play it. And generally speaking, I think most armies I'd be going around that kind of way with it. As a game, it's an interesting one because literally just as you said, like with Moria, you've got. I mean, I know if I was up against you, if you had Moria, I would be going straight for your leader. I'd just straight in. I'm going. Everyone's going against that leader. Get him done. And that's it. So it throws up different tactics in a very simple way. So what do you think?
I mean, it's a bit like the chance encounter that we spoke about last week, but just with a little bit more flavour to it. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite ones, but it's an interesting one because it's not just straight up killing, which I said chance encounter is probably my least favourite. This isn't my least favourite. And the other thing is that if you just kill the leader, it's just then all you have to do is get your leader one kill.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I can't remember if we played this one when we did our campaign or not. I'd have to look it up. But
no, I don't think you and me have played this one.
No, but I remember I had a Warg Rider company on the campaign that we were running before, and that was good. But I was against another Warg Rider company, so I had, throwing spears all over the place and lots of wargs, obviously.
Yeah.
And my leaders kept losing combats to wargs, so he kept fluffing dice rolls. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Score wise, I mean, I think I gave chance encounter 4 out of 10 or something, 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it was a 4. It was down there. It is. I don't think there's any real duff ones, but yeah, no, 4. I think this one still sits roughly like a 4.5. It's a 0.5 above chance encounter, in my opinion. It's just a little bit different. Again, it's if you're just getting into battle companies, it's a good way, just open battlefield to practice some tactics, mess around with some bits and pieces, if you're relatively new, and it's good because it's just an all-out trying to kill each other kind of game one, so you want to get as many points on the board, so it's pretty good in that sense. Later on, having got a bigger battle company, again, could be interesting, but I choose a different one just because it'll be more interesting those other ones.
I think that early game I'd give it a 5 out of 10, late game I'd give it a 6.5. I think that when you've got a leader that's got 2 or 3 might points, and you're able to then call things like heroic combats and heroic moves without it being the only bit of might that you've possibly got, it changes the complexity of the tactic. So,
indeed,
yeah, that's what I think. So, yeah.
And no one cares what you think, Nick.
No one cares what I think. Right. Should we do our companies for the week?
We shall indeed.
So so our company, or good company of this week, is Fiefdoms. You bastard. Since the days of old, the Fiefdoms of Gondor have pledged to defend her in times of need. Many of the cities under Gondor's protection host skilled standing armies with warriors prepared to do their duty. Yet peace remains out of reach. Packs of orcs will often attack cities and outposts, intent on bringing death and ruin to their people. And corsair slave raids are commonplace on the coastlines to the south. It is because of this that bands of warriors from the major cities of Gondor's fiefdoms patrol the lands of Gondor to protect the race of men against the threat of Mordor. Often, an aspiring swan knight from Dol Amroth will gather men from Lothar, Lamadon, and Mothond in order to venture forth and quell the threats that stalk their lands. I said I was going to do it. Yes, and I will do. Yes, I will. I will do the. I'll do the Gollum later. I was actually practicing. I was practicing in the car. It was.
You were practicing Gollum in the car. Brilliant.
Yeah. Tell us about the starting battle company.
So the starting battle company is it Fiefdoms or Fiefdoms? Fiefdoms, isn't it?
Fiefdoms.
Fiefdoms. So it's what you start with is one Knight of Dol Amroth, who must be your leader. One Man-at-Arms of Dol Amroth. One Clansman of Lamdon or
Lamadon, I believe.
Lamadon. One Axeman of Lossarnock.
Yep.
And two Blackroot.
You're killing me, mate.
Two Blackroot Vale archers. So so that's your starting company.
Yeah. So reinforcements. There's no special chart on this, which makes it interesting. So there's 3 influence cost to roll on the reinforcement chart. 1 will get you nothing. A roll of 2 will get you a Man-at-Arms of Dol Amroth. A 3 will get you a Blackroot Vale Archer. A 4 will get you a Clansman of Lamadon. A 5 will get you an Axeman of Lossarnock. And 6 will give you a Knight of Dol Amroth. The company hero upgrade is called For the White City. With a rousing cry, the hero plunges themselves into the fray in defense of Minas Tirith. This hero gains a bonus of +1 to its fight value on a turn in which it charges. Mm-hmm. And there's one unique bit of war gear, which is a broadsword, which has cost you 1 influence. Yeah.
Advancements.
Tell us about the advancements.
So the advancements there. So a Man-at-Arms of Dol Amroth can become a Knight of Dol Amroth, and a Knight of Dol Amroth can become a Knight of Dol Amroth on an armored horse.
Yeah, nice and simple. So if you have been listening to previous episodes, you'll know that this is a company that I am. In the midst of in the campaign against Steven's Isengard. So I've got a fair amount to say about them, but what do you think they're like to play against?
They are intimidating to start with. Every time we start the game off, because I'm your Isengard, I've got your Kai at the moment. You matching me on the fight value. Your defense is near matching me on most people. So we're quite matched. So a lot of it comes down to dice rolls and placement. Having 1 or 2 people extra in a combat makes a difference. So yeah. It's a fairly matched you and me going against each other. I'm not looking forward to horses turning up.
Yeah, that could be game changing.
I think so indeed, because I don't get any of them. But yeah, no, they're mixed. The thing is, there is a mix. You've got the archers. You've also got the pikes. You got the double-handed axe. So it's there's a mix of weaponry to go against as well, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. So should we go through the stat lines?
Yep.
So do you want to start, or shall I?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
So first up is the Knight of Dol Amroth. They are with heavy armor, shield, and sword. For an influence point, you can give them a lance, so obviously when they're on a horse. And for 8 influence points, you can buy them a horse. Their movement is 6. Their fight is 4+. Their strength is 3. Defense is 6. Attacks 1, wounds 1, and courage 4. So a strong starting character, I think.
Yeah, so I've made a mistake there. It's not 8 points for an armoured horse, it's 4. So apologies about that. It's 8 points if you were to... That's how many extra points it would be if you were doing a list building for things. So, that is not a Knight of Dol Amroth. A Man-at-Arms of Dol Amroth. Got heavy armour. It's got a pike and has a sword. So they are... Movement 6, fight 4 with a shoot of 4+, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, and a courage of 3.
Nice. And Axeman on Losanark is heavy armor, axe of there, and a sword. How do you say it again? Losan.
Just keep butchering it. It's fine. Losanark is like, imagine.
See, I need to listen to the audiobooks and actually learn it. It's one of those things that someone would in the comments would just rip me apart for it. Anyhow, the axe of Losanark can be used as a two-handed axe or a spear, that's a tasty little weapon, isn't it? Like you can spear support or you can use it as a two-handed weapon. So their movement is 6, fight 4+, strength 3, defense 4, attacks 1, wounds 1, and courage 3.
Yeah. Moving us on to the Clansmen of Lamadon. It's very simple war gear, simply armour and a broadsword. Notice that just a broadsword. So no dagger, no sword, whatever, which means that you have no choice about whether you go double-handed or not. You have to go double-handed. So that is made slightly better by the fact that they had the broadsword rule, which means that if you roll a natural 6, that will count as a 6. So normally when you go double-handed, you will be on a -1 to your dual roll. But with the broadsword rule, the 6 is a 6. So in terms of their stat line, they've got a movement of 6, fight 4, 4+, strength 3, defense is only 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, and a beefy courage of 5.
They're not running anytime soon, but see, another thing I found interesting with all these guys. Oh, sorry, we'll go through. Sorry, last guy, and then we'll go back to what I was thinking. So the last one is the Blackroot Veiled Archer. Comes with armor, sword, and bow. Can also get a spear for 1 point, which is interesting for an archer. Mountain Dweller. Mountain Dwellers may reroll any jump, leap, and climb tests. In addition, they may move through rocky areas that are classified as difficult terrain as if they were on open ground. They also have a Dead Eye Shot, so they reroll fail to wound rolls when benefiting from a heroic shoot. Their movement 6. Yeah, their movement 6. Fight 3, 3+. Nice. So it's not 50%. I kept getting it wrong. And I did correct myself.
You
so
did?
It's 2/3. Yeah, 2/3 of a chance. So I just thought I'd say it there because it's been commented on now. Strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound. But a bit wimpy with a courage of 2. So they like running around in the bushes and shooting their arrows. So, but yeah, Dead Eye Shot, Mountain Dweller, and a 3+ shooting, 2/3 chance of hitting. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, so we'll get into kind of hero paths and stuff later on, but I'm really enjoying playing with these guys. It's the first. I'm just going to check with myself. It's the first company I've ever used that have got pikes. So the fact that you can have like a 3 deep attack has been very, very useful because I'm probably a little bit odd in how I play battle companies at times because I think that if I've got like, so for instance with the Axeman of Losanark, he's got a sword but he's got the axe, and the model that I've got is a 3D print one and it's a beautiful one. Apparently looks just like me according to Stephen's wife. So so screw you, Danielle. But my feeling is always, if you've got a massive axe, that's the weapon you're using. Even if double-handed doesn't make sense in terms of game position, it's like, no, you're going to go with the double-handed axe because you've got a double-handed axe. So, and obviously you don't get the choice with the broadsword, but I think that I like the fact that you've got this broadsword and you do have to go double-handed because it kind of just forces you into that. And then, but the fact that you can spear support with the Axeman, is really interesting, and like so you can go 2 deep or even 3 deep with the with your kind of your rank. Well, I say ranks, they're not ranks because there's like 8 models on the board or on your side or whatever. But yeah, having an Axeman backed up by a man at arms, the Dal Amroth, or the Clansman is backed up by the Axeman, it gives you more dice in the fight, and then there isn't any strength 4 in there, but there is strength 3 with +1 to wound in a couple of places. And, you know, the Axeman that I've got, he's one of my sergeants. He's already strength, he's upgraded the strength, and he's got Burly, so he's strength 4 +1 to wound, which against your defense 4 Uruks is 3 to wound, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm loving them. I'm finding them really, really interesting.
I think on them they are out the gate. You've got quite a few strong players there straight out the gate. Like, you know, so like the Knight of Dal Amroth, you know, 4/4 defense 6 off the back. Again, the man at arms of Dal Amroth, the Axeman of Lossark. They're all, yeah, that's it. That's the one. Even just for the fact they're all fight 4 out the gate, their strength, you know, could be improved and stuff. But you know, they're not bad. Interesting though. Clansman with the broadsword, natural 6 is a 6, you know, so straight out, more interesting to start with. They've already got some special bits about them, and yeah, they've not been easy to play against, like, you know, so I think if anything so far playing against them at the present moment, dice rolls have just been in my favour more so than anything. So I think, like, you know, when we played the last battle, when you had 6 of them against a troll, I literally thought at that moment, as long as the 6 wasn't rolled and the troll didn't win the fight, it didn't win the dual roll, I was like, it's game over. Like, you know, yeah, I thought you guys were going to have him, like, you know. But yeah, no, it's I like the look of them. I like the way they're armed and armoured. A little negative for me is just if you wanted to improve some of your standard guys' defences, you can't get shields, you can't add things for, you know, 1 influence point, so they are limited. So if they're not on hero paths or they're not any of your heroes, you know, they are at that defense, like, you know, and they are, you know, there's no way of improving. That's the only thing, if I was to pick a failing of them off the bat, is that. But apart from that, I think they're pretty good. I do.
I think I mean, you are right with regards to that. I think that it then determines how you play them. It means that typically you're going to put your defense 6 guy or maybe your defense 5 guy at the front with the ones that are defense 4 and defense 5 behind. If that's possible. Obviously, with the Clansman, you just have to go in there. But what I like about them and the way that I'm using them is that I'm going full Dol Amroth theming with my naming and everything. So, you know, my Knight of Dol Amroth, who's, you know, leading my company, that's Imrahil. I've got my Axeman is Forlong the Fat, and then I've got Angbor the Fearless as the Clansman, and then so Duin here. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It might be Dwin here. He's my archer sergeant. So yeah, it's kind of cool to sometimes go like full theme on that sort of thing. And yeah, they are. I mean, it's not very often that you get tabled. So in that second game that we had where I just tabled you, and that was mainly due to the fact that I was able to do like a 3 deep support. So yeah, plus and get some traps involved with the +1 to wound. So yeah, they are a good company to play with so far. I'm looking forward to getting them, a few of them on horses, and yeah, the other really good thing about it is that I don't think any of them are bad per se.
Mm-hmm.
They all have the it's like when it's not like when you roll like you get a Mord or Orc and you're like, great. I think it's
Yeah,
like if you anything you roll on on your reinforcement, you're like, oh, that's cool. I can make that work. It's fine.
yeah.
And the fact there's no special chart means that you're not spending more influence to kind of bump yourself up to get to the special chart roll because
No, you don't.
and this is true of a bunch of companies that are just plain and simple. Yeah, 1 to 6, roll it. So yeah, it means that you can spend more influence on other things or additional roles or equipment or whatever. Um, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing with them some more, particularly if I can get. Well, we'll talk about hero paths in a second, but yeah, it's good. It's really good.
No. So yeah, no, I think no, they're interesting, good, yeah. Advantages, disadvantages. I think we kind of touched on that a little bit. I think the advantages of them only grow as you get more people on the board, and the fact that you can get some horses. The horses are armored as well, aren't they? Armored horses as well. So yeah. Disadvantages. The only disadvantage I'd say is your courage on a few of them is quite low. But
You
to be
got
fair,
you got archers on courage too. I mean, other than that, they're better than most men. You
yeah,
know, so yeah, most men models are courage 3. So the fact you got 3, 4, even 5, I think you're wrong on that one. But the courage 2 is pants.
no, the courage.
But yeah,
Yeah. No. Sorry. Yeah, no. I was meaning on the archers only. Like the courage is a bit weak on those guys, but for what they get with Deadeye Shot and all that kind of thing, and Mountain Dweller, they're gonna be running around the backfields of the board, aren't they? They're gonna be moving around shooting. They're not gonna be up front and center.
yeah, and it's I hadn't realised about giving them spears until we actually got on this, which might actually mean I give them spears. Um, because that's even more chance to kind of have more attacks in the fight without putting a defense 4 guy in harm's way. So yeah, I'm really enjoying playing with them, and the way that I've got mine set up is that you have to have the Knight of Doran as your leader. Mine is on path of the general, and that's working well for me so far. My sergeant is the Axeman of Lossarnock, and he is on the path of the warrior. Already got deadly strength, so he's got burly, which is just epic and he's upgraded his strength already, so yeah, he's strength 4 and burly, so he's not one to be you wanted to be fighting against. And then the absolute, I mean, I don't think there's any other option given their special rule, but you've got to have. So I've got a Black Root Vale Archer Dwyn here on path of the Ranger, because the number 11 roll on that path, I believe, is a free heroic shoot every turn. So if you get that, then you can use your Deadeye Shot. So that only affects models within 6 inches, but if you get that, then you can shoot first every single turn, and any model shooting within 6 inches, you get to re-roll the wound rolls. I mean, maybe you're wounding on 5s, maybe you're wounding on 6s, but the fact that you get to re-roll anything, not re-rolling 1s like you get for if you got poison or if you got pinpoint shot, this is re-rolling everything. So it's really, really strong. So late game, if you've got 5 archers in there, little death squad, 5 of them all shooting, hitting on 3s and re-rolling all failed wounds, I wouldn't want to be facing that.
No, that archer is something else. I think I'm much the same with you, having the archer on that, the leader in general, obviously. The only difference I was thinking about, and I don't know if I would, is I about using Path of the Duelist as opposed to Path of the Warrior. So I'd have to have a decent think about it. But maybe
No, I think for me it has to be warrior because of Burley. Because you want to be going double-handed all the time. You got a big dude with a massive axe. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that I would change potentially, if I was to do it again, would be to have my clansman of Lamadon be a one of the original heroes and put him on Path of the Warrior because of him and the broadsword and him giving him Burley. He became a hero in the making. He's a hero in the making already after only 4 games. But
that's right.
And this is one of those things where I'm like, you shouldn't have done this, Chris. This is a dick move. But I don't care. Is that I've put him on Path of the Duelist. I mean, all the sense in the world says that he should be on Path of the Warrior, so he can get Burley and not worry about the -1 on the duel roll. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I want it to be more. I want it to be fun. I want him to get Blade Master. I want him to get parry, and I want him to be an absolute maniac baller.
But the thing is, it's like broadsword, 2-handed, +1 to wound. Obviously, -1 on the duel. But if you get Blade Master, you re-roll a duel roll. And if you got hero, it's like even Hero Slayer is another +1 to wound. So it's like you get a +1 to wound just for 2-handed, and then if it's a hero with another +1, that's a +2. And what he's wounding already quite high. So.
Yeah, if you get his strength 4 with +2 to wound against heroes, I mean, I'm down for that all day long.
And that's why I was thinking Path of the Duelist, because suddenly, these 2-handed weapons, yes, there is that. That's the only difference. That's quite, again, getting back to the company rule, the community rules here. It's not overpowered because Duelist and Warrior was a bit of a mix, so it's like you either go Warrior and you got the chance of getting Burley, that's you wound on the you win the fight on the same, and then you get the +1 to wound, or you go for Path of the Duelist, but there's a chance of +1/+1. There's other things there, and it's interesting. Again, that's why I love these community rules, because it's not overpowered. You have to think what you will sacrifice more so than what you're going to gain, isn't it? So yeah, that's how. Yeah, I think literally the same as you. I'd go General, Ranger. I probably would just go Path of the Duelist straight off with Clansman of Lamadon.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I think they're a really fun company to play with, no matter how you slice and dice it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I mean, the only thing we haven't discussed is the company specific upgrade with +1 to fight value on the charge. That is what I am going to take next for my Clansman, unless I roll parry. Because with the community rules, you can roll, and if you don't like what you've got, then you can choose your company hero upgrade. So unless I roll something incredible, I'm going to take that +1 fight on the charge, because that is something which, if you've got the fight value, so then I think all your Uruks are fight 4 still. So if he's fight 5, then there's a chance. And he's got 2 attacks already, so yeah.
Yeah.
so that's fun. Right, so quick comment. Broken Gollum says, it's interesting that the Axe of Lossarnoch isn't available for War Gear while the Broadsword is. Yeah, it is a weird one. I don't really understand why that is the case, and it's interesting as well because as far as I'm aware, the special rules that are assigned to the models, not to the weapons. So if you were to give someone a broadsword, then they wouldn't have the broadsword rule. They just have a broadsword, which isn't great. It's like, here, have something that's just essentially a double-handed weapon. a double-handed weapon, which without the benefits of it. I mean, I could be wrong on that. I mean, I'm not. I think in a tournament that might be. Well, in a tournament that wouldn't happen, but I think if you were playing amongst friends as battle companies normally is, then what's happening is you get a broadsword and you go, yeah, that guy's got a broadsword. Is it okay if he's got broadsword rule? And like, yeah, cool, that's fine. I think that would be how it went down. So on to our evil company.
Yep.
Christ. So this is Minas Morgul. What? How have I got myself into the situation, Stephen?
Because you're a sucker. I know. Because you can do it. I can't even do it, so.
I've just got to get myself. I mean, I can't even do that great Gollum impression, but I'm just. Okay.
Minas Morgul has long been under the Dark Lord's control. Now known as sorcerer, Minas Morgul is the home of the nice and the legends of orcs, spirits, and victories. That city is not peace. And no one would willingly venture into unset years under the lights of the mystery.
I'm done. That's like I can do a paragraph. And that's it. As the Dark Lord's search for the Ring of Power continues, the Nazgul constantly send their own followers to tread the paths of Middle-earth in search of the ring. Alongside the orcs that accompany commonplace with Mordor, the Nazgul send small numbers of highly skilled Black Numenorians to take charge of these companies and to make sure the orcs stay in line. So, what's our starting company looking like?
So the starting company for the Minas Morgul are 2 Mordor orcs with shields, 2 Mordor orc with spear, 2 Mordor orc with orc bow, and 2 Black Numenorians.
Nailed it.
You proud of me? Nailed
I
it.
am
I got
so proud, hun.
Oh, cheers, babe.
If you're wondering what we're talking about, Stephen was having trouble saying Numenorian.
I have trouble saying a lot of things. Don't think a podcast was the best choice for me.
It was your idea. Okay, so I want to start off before we talk about the reinforcement role by talking about the absolutely filthy company hero upgrade. So this is Morgul weaponry. Each time this hero inflicts an unsaved wound on an enemy, roll a d6. On a 5+, that model suffers an additional wound. Fate may still be used as normal. So, if you want a hero killing special rule, this is it. Just absolute, like a 1 in 3 chance that it's a double wound.
Nice.
So, yeah. Once you've got like a Black Numenorian. It's become a Morgul Knight, or you've put one of your Numenorians on a horse, and they've even if they've got 1 attack, that's 2 on the charge. Knock someone down, and they win the fight. That's 4 wounding rolls, and any of those have got a 1 in 3 chance of becoming an extra wound. Filth.
That is disgusting. That is beautifully disgusting.
So that is one to take as early as possible, because if you've got someone that's got 1 wound, then there's a 1 in 3 chance that so if they've got 2 wounds, you've got a 1 in 3 chance that they're dead in one go. So right, anyway, so the reinforcements will cost you 3 influence points. 1 will give you nothing, 2 with orc with spear, 3 orc with bow, 4 orc with 2-handed weapon, 5 orc with shield, 6 will roll on the special chart. Here's a special chart. A 1 or a 2 gives you a Morgul Stalker, a 3 or a 4 gives you a Black Numenorian, and a 5 or a 6 gives you a Dead Marsh Spectre, which are very fun.
Yes.
And the advancement, Stephen?
The advancements are Mordor Orc with Orc Bow becomes a Orc Tracker, and a Black Numenorian becomes a Morgul Knight.
Jolly good.
These guys are pretty mean, these are.
So let's look at stat lines now. We've obviously featured orcs in the last 2 episodes. So an orc warrior, they come with armor, sword, or a pick. And you can give them a shield, bow, or a spear, or a 2-handed weapon for 1 influence point. And very average stat line of movement 6, fight 3, 5+, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, and a courage of 2. So, meh, orcs.
Yeah. I mean, to start with, you got 6 of these in the company. I mean, so, and then, have you got it here? Is it here? The Black Numenorians. There we go, yeah. So, Black Numenorians, they come with heavy armor, sword, and shield. They have terror, which is a lovely little thing to have. Movement 6, fight 4, 4+, strength 3, defense 6, which is nice. 1 attack, 1 wound, and courage 4. So they are. I think the terror is the difference on the starting company. Just having those guys, with some terror on them makes it a bit more difficult to attack.
Yeah, they are. It's pretty clear that they are going to be your starting leader and sergeants. But yeah, sorry, getting distracted. So Morgul Stalkers, they have an arm. They have 2 arms. They have armor and a sword. And they've got the Stalk Unseen special rule, which means they can't be targeted by shooting, charging, or magical powers if any part of the model is covered and they are 6 inches or more away. So nice, sneaky models. And they are movement 6, fight 3, 5+, strength 4, defense 4, 2 attacks, 1 wound, and a courage of 3.
Ooh. And then we have the Dead Marsh Spectres. So the special rules are Blades of the Dead. They wound against courage rather than the defense. That's awful. That is. Terror again. A fell sight is in them at any point in the Death Marsh Spectre's move phase. It may target a model within 12 inches that has line of sight of. This model must pass a courage test to be under complete control of the enemy player to make a full move, even if the model has already moved. Cannot be put in an enemy's control zone or made to do anything that would cause injury, like climb tests, etc. Movement 6, fight 2, 4+, 3, strength 3, defense 5, attacks 1, wounds 1, and a nice high courage 6.
Yeah, so they are rare, so you only have 3 of them, and they can't be heroes either, which is kind of disappointing, but it makes complete sense because they'd be a bit too good otherwise. So, what's your thoughts on the?
As a starting company, just with anything that's got orcs, and then also their reinforcements to start with, like you're going to be spending influence points to get onto the special role chart because you want the Morgul Stalkers, the Black Numenorians, and the Death Marsh Spectres. So it's a bit costly. I think this is as a starting unit. This is not for the inexperienced. This is again one of those ones like you're ready to have a bit of a slogging match at the start of any campaign, or when you start with this battle company. Just get through it. Like orcs are fine. They're just not fine. No, they're okay. So there's a bit of work you need to put into it to get them going. The Black Numenorians are a little bit of a saviour, but you can't rely on 2 characters on the board all the time. So yeah, just keep on going with it. But I think if you slog it out and you push hard and you get some Stalkers, some more Numenorians, and a couple of Spectres in there, they're going to be formidable. And what's nice is then you've still got these 6 orcs to start with that you can throw around the board, objective taking, hassle, harass, and soak up some hits and stuff so you've got all of that stuff as well. So yeah, I think not great to start, bit of effort, bit of time, something to be reckoned with, I think.
Yeah, I've played one of these. I've not got deep into it yet, unfortunately. But they've not been a company I've used in a campaign. They've been one I've been just doing pickup games with, and I think I've got them up to maybe 300 points, and they are. I haven't got a Dead Marsh Spectre yet. I have had Dead Marsh Spectres in my Angmar company before, and I think these guys are really good. I think this is a really interesting company. You've got fairly easy access. We've got some Fight 4 in there, so you can have, you can have a Black Numenorian spear supported by one of your orcs. So you got a couple of attacks with Fight 4. So, if you're going up against something in the Fiefdoms, the fight value is equal. If you're going up against a Rohan, you've got advantage on the, on the fight value because you've got your Fight 4. Terror is always one of those things that, maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference sometimes, but the time that it does, it, all of a sudden something different's going on. But if you, so let's say you max out this company, you're probably going to be looking at having 5 Morgul Knights, whether that's people that have upgraded or just your Numenorians that you've just bought horses for, either or. So you can have 5 Morgul Knights. Maybe you've got some other Black Numenorians hanging around as well. But let's just say you've got your 5 Knights, you've got your 3 Dead Marsh Spectres, and then you've got Orcs and Morgul Stalkers. You've got 8 models, so out of 15, that cause terror.
Yeah.
That is, eventually, someone's going to fail a courage test and not be able to get into a combat they thought they were going to be able to get into.
It's what the thing is. I think what it is with this is adding that extra dice roll, isn't it? That dice roll that could cause all the difference. It's already bad enough that you have your dual roll, but to have another dice roll to be like you can't get into combat. It's that, isn't it?
But I'll be honest, playing them with them to begin with, it is a little bit of a grind. You are going to have to, do whatever you have to do when you've got orcs. But the community rules mean that the starting companies are pretty well balanced. And there's a couple that are clearly better, but in general, the starting companies are pretty balanced. I mean, just kind of reading through, and especially having Dead Marsh Spectres, really making me want to pick up and play with them again, because they're great. I mean, so the Dead Marsh Spectre, that fell light is in them. That is such a horrible rule to play against, because especially as if you look at the wording at any point in the Dead Marsh Spectre's move phase is what it says in the rule book. So you can actually have these guys hidden. They can come out of cover, make you do a courage test, make you do a full move towards you, and then you can go back into cover again. So you can just pluck an enemy model, like a warrior, and just bring it into your space, and then piss off and hide again, and then leave that to be charged. I mean, it's something where you can just enforce your enemy's lines to break. It's like, I'm going to really carefully position this there. No, you're not. He's going over there, and he's going over there, and he's coming over there. It's kind of useless against things like elves, courage 5, dwarves, which are courage 4. But against things that are courage 3, something like that, there's there's always a chance. Same with terror. There's always a chance that something's. So it's not something which you can completely rely upon, but it's something which your opponent is going to have to think about. And as with so many things that I love about this game, Battle Companies, but is having a different rule to have to think about and have your opponent think about. And also wounding against courage.
That one is pretty damn awful, isn't it? Like, you got everything. You got your shield. You're up to defense 6.
Yeah.
And then then you're down.
Yeah. So I mean, for example, like if you're looking at like something really high defense like Durin's Folk, if you've got heavy armor and a shield, then it's like, I'm defense 7. What are you gonna do?
And that's only
it's like, but you're only courage 4. So because it's going to be the difference normally between 1 wounding roll, maybe 2 in extreme circumstances, but depends who you're fighting against.
I mean, but it's completely balanced. You've got fight 2. Like, you're literally, your roll is on that dual roll. That's your dice roll. That's your taking a chance on it, hoping you get that dual roll. Because as soon as you get that dual roll, then all bets are off. Like, but that's the risk. That's the joy of it. Like,
I don't really think that they are a model that you're desperately trying to get into combat. They are models that are going to be used to break lines. Maybe hold an objective, but because of the terror. But I really like this list. I think it's great fun. Oh, I've realised. Fiefdoms score out of 10.
Oh shoot! Fiefdoms score out of 10. To me, sorry, get back onto them. Fiefdoms score out of 10. I'm thinking, for a starting company, they're a strong 7.5 to 8. They are. I like them. I do like them.
Yeah, I think as I'm playing with them at the moment, apart from some fluffed rolls in the last couple of games, they've been a joy. So I'm going to give them. I'm going to give them an 8, but I would say that they are not a company that you want to be if you've not played a lot before. I think they're a little bit. There's a little bit more to think about rather than just chucking them forward and doing stuff. And like, if you are someone who likes the official models, I hope you've got a lot of money, because all of them are out of production. Like, there was a guy on one of the Facebook groups who wanted €25 per man of arms at Dol Amroth. So, like, he had 3 of them saying, yes, €75. I was like, no.
No, you're right.
No, okay, no, I'll get some 3D printed for like £3 a model actually, and it'll probably be nicer. Anyway, so back to this list. How would you? I mean, it's obvious you'd have a leader and sergeant as a Black Numenorian.
The only other thing I'd do is going to do. I would go orc with bow. No, I wouldn't. No, I'd go. I don't know. No, I'd go orc with bow, and I'd go sharpshooter with them. Just to because if then they can go up to orc tracker, and get on a warg, and if they.
No, because if you put them as a hero, they can't upgrade to tracker.
Ah, shoot. No, you're completely right there. Then no, I would stick it on a shield or a spear, and I would stick them on Path of the Warrior, and then like with spear, like I did with what's his name, Lance. He had his spear. He went burly, 2-handed. Give him a 2-handed weapon, and make him and just push him through the upgrades, push him through the hero path and hopefully just get as much on him as possible. Like, you know, upgrade him that way as I can. Like, you know, is what I do. It's like even that alone, like the company hero upgrade, each time a hero inflicts an unsaved wound against an enemy model, is like there. Suddenly the orc, if he got burly, two-handed weapon, and I bought him a two-handed weapon, he becomes useful then. So yeah, it would be, I'd probably say shield, because he just gets the extra defense on it.
Yeah.
But then it would be. I think it's always got Path of the General. Really, I don't. People in the comments, would you always use Path of the General for your starting, like your leader? I always feel like it's a good strong one, Path of the General. Like
So the way that I set mine up. And I wouldn't do it like this if I was to do it again. So I went for Path of the Night from my leader, because I was definitely going to be buying him a horse. And my other one I put on Path of the Duelist. Now, I would not have my leader go on Path of the Night. And I'll tell you why. Because Path of the Night, if I can find it, Path of the Night has the number 3 upgrade. So kind of the second or third best thing you can get is Fearsome Charge. While mounted, when this hero charges into combat, they gain the Terror special rule until the end of the turn. It's like, well, got Terror anyway, so why would I want to, if you roll a 3, you want to be able to go, ooh! Beautiful. So
yeah.
I would not go for that. As for what I would go for, unsure. I might do something. I might do something like Path of the Defender, because it gives you, something like Path of the Defender, because I feel like it gets you a good set of things, or maybe the Martyr, but not. I wouldn't go Path of the General, because I think it's a bit cliche now. We keep saying that, Let's go for it.
No.
But my third starting hero, when I did it before, and I might do this again, is to have Path of the Sorcerer. I think. I would go Path of the Sorcerer, or I'd go Path of the Minstrel. Because I think that there are some really handy things. Yeah. Ooh, yes. So this would be really, really tasty later game. So the Path of the Minstrel, the 7 roll on that, so the most likely one you're going to get, is Melody of Despair. Enemy models within 6 inches reduce their courage by 1. So,
and then Terror.
And so when you've got Terror going on, and you've got the Fell Light is in them going on, this is an army that is going to prey on weak courage.
It is, yeah.
So if you can keep,
or elite.
So if you can keep, so I'd have Orc with Spear being on Path of the Minstrel, because you could spear support, which means you're not engaged in combat, you're supporting the combat. Because the thing is that with the Path of the Minstrel, unless you get the Instrument of War 6/6 thing, which means you can be in combat and have your songs being sung or whatever it is, you need to not be in combat or things that are negated. So I'd keep him back. I'd keep him around the Dead Marsh Spectres. The thing is, like, with a -1 to anything within 6 inches, they can be. You might keep around in Numenorians. I think it gives you a lot of options. So yeah, think about it. If you've got a Numenorian, whether it's one of your heroes or one you've got as an upgrade, combined with this hero that's causing -1 to people's courage on an objective, say, yeah, you can charge me if you want to, but you've got to pass a courage test on a -1. It gives people so much to think about.
No, 100%. I think it's definitely is. Yeah, it would make, well, obviously the courage test on a -1. It just levels the playing field a bit, doesn't it? So it's with this one you gotta fight you gotta box clever. Sorry, with how you start them up with those bits and pieces, So, yeah.
Well, just thinking, if you were up against another orc company, then you could potentially have orcs trying to charge you with courage 1. And then being
you've got what?
And then being countercharged. And if it's a Blades of the Dead situation, you've got essentially defense 1. So strength 3 on defense 1 would be a 3 to wound. So
wow. That's a good juicy little. It's that. I think this one you gotta play clever, and it's again one of the later game battle companies, isn't it? You got to build that battle company to be what it's got to be. It's a bit of a slog to start with, because you're going to start with 6 orcs that you're going to be running around, and they're just going to be getting lopped and chopped and done with early game,
So I think that you've got. You're going to have the numbers against most companies, and you've got the Numenorians there, which are, they are fight 4. So they're not that bad. And we haven't mentioned the Morgul Stalkers yet either. They are strength 4 with 2 attacks, just as a beginner thing. Obviously that's the sort of guy you want to get onto here in the making if you possibly can, because
yeah.
And then let me just double check their stats before I say something. They are shoot 5. I was thinking if they were shoot 4, then it might even be that you get them a bow, but I really think that this is, it's not quite as good as the Mordor one, but it's not far off of it, because it has so much interest going on. Again, like the Fiefdoms, it's not a company you want to do as your first one ever, probably, because there's too many rules to think about that are going to affect the tactics that you use. But I think once you've played a bunch of games and you understand a bit, I think these guys are great.
I think these guys could be really good. Again, I wouldn't be too scared to pick it for my second battle company. I'd pick up, once you know the rules a bit, and you can certain things like company hero upgrades in there, and knowing where you want your rolls to go and how to add things up. I think she's not too bad a unit, a battle company to start with. So yeah.
And in terms of model availability, and obviously you're starting with orcs. Orcs are readily available. I'm not sure about Black Numenorians and their availability. I know that the Morgul Knights, you can get those. I bought them from Jedi Archives, directly from Games Workshop buy. The Deadmarsh Spectres, you could make your own quite easily, but the Deadmarsh Spectre was, to be honest, the blister pack of 3 Deadmarsh Spectres that Games Workshop sell are some of the coolest models, and it's 3 of them for I think I paid 11 quid, so it's not.
It's 11. Yeah, it's 11 quid. I'm online at the present moment, so you can get the Deadmarsh Spectres, and they are cool models. You got the elf Deadmarsh.
Just that elf one is just like this, leaning forwards. It's one of my favourite models I've ever painted is the orc one that's dragging its shield. And they got the weeds wrapped around them and stuff. Really, like, just really fun models. Yeah.
No.
So, disadvantages are that it's a bit of a grind to begin with, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Orcs are orcs. So, I think that the biggest disadvantage is the fact that the only good stuff is on the special chart. There's no, so it might be that you have to burn a bit of influence. So you can't just going to go, well, I'll take whatever I get. It's like, no, I really want to get on the special chart because I don't want another orc particularly.
Yeah.
But
No, I think it's definitely it's going to eat through your influence points, this battle company, to get what you need, right? But once you spend that influence points, you're going to have a good battle company.
yeah, and the advantages are so many. I mean, the other disadvantage is your shooting. You got orc shooting on a strength 2 on a 5+ hit. It's just like it's taking honesty shots. It's like, yeah, I'll shoot, but I'm not expecting.
Yeah.
If anything happens at all, it's a wonderful bonus, but it's not ever to be relied upon. So, but yeah, the combination of all of that terror, the Dead Marsh Spectre's rules as well, the Fell Sight one. I cannot overstate how it's the same. It's basically the same rule as Wood Elf Sentinels have got, where they can make you take a courage test and move them. So I cannot overstate, particularly against cavalry, how annoying it is to play against this sort of thing. Because if it's against, I say the reason I say against cavalry is because of the 10-inch movement. Is that you say if they fail their courage test, you move them 10 inches wherever you want. So it's the sort of thing where you can just pluck them. It's like you can just pluck a model, move it to right next to you, and then you just swarm it. And
Nice. Well, you can just pull them out, can't you? Just pull them out, separate them, swarm them, get rid of that one, pull out another one, separate them, swarm them, and it's just they're trapped. You're doubling your attacks on them. It's simple tactics that would make it,
yeah,
quite
it's
interesting.
the sort of thing where if you do that and it passes its courage test, you haven't really lost a lot because you weren't. It's obviously the Dead Marsh Spectres aren't going to be something you're desperate to get into combat anyway. So if you kind of try and do your thing with them, because the thing is, you could put them somewhere centrally, but maybe up higher, so that they can just kind of have a kind of 12-inch radius, like a 24-inch diameter around them, where they can go, right, what can I see? And then, their defense 5, which means, most shooting is going to be wounding them on 6s. So they are not fun. Which is, that's why that you only get 3 of them, and that's why they are the top model on
But
on the
even
roll.
that they're holding objectives as well. Like you got them up high, or you get one objectives. They're defense 5, and then the fact even alone things are charging them, and then if they roll the thing and you charge them back again, like you're sending them away, they're like, ooh, hey,
I'm not sure you can pull
like,
models out of combat. That's the only thing, but yeah, but the idea of, well, I just want to start one of these companies again, but have it set up differently. Because I'm just I'm on Battles Companies Manager looking at. I mean, look, my leader. I did put him on par for the night, so he was. Oh, the other thing is like Morgul Knights. Give him a lance. They're +1 to wound on the charge as well. So my leader got to fight 5, strength 4, 3 attacks, horse, lance. So 3 attacks at strength 4 and +1 to wound. On a horse. So yeah, that's just really fun. Yeah, but
I think so. Rating out of 10, what would you give them?
I mean, Mordor has set the bar really high.
What was it we did for Mordor again?
Well, I can't remember what you did. That's for you to
I
remember.
I went
I
low.
gave
did.
Mordor 8.5 out of 10. So
Didn't
I mean,
I didn't go as
I think
high.
you valued them pretty highly. Um,
Yes, so I did. I think I did do pretty highly with them. They were quite interesting. And this is the thing now, someone's going to correct me. He's going to remind me what I did do them as. These guys for me start as a 6 with a potential go to a 7.5, is what I'm saying.
okay. I think you're massively undervaluing them, and I'm 8.
I think I have 8. You're going 8 again, yeah? So
Like,
Fiefdoms
and because remember as well the Morgul weaponry upgrade,
yeah.
where every wound
Yes.
could be 2 wounds. I mean,
I think, look, yeah. No, so I think, no, I'd finish on an 8. I'd go as an 8 as a later battle company. But as a starting battle company, they're a 6 to me. They are not, they're not a great starting battle company.
what as in what you get to begin with.
Yeah, what you get to begin with. Like, no, they improve later on, but you got to spend some time on them.
Okay, I think you're wrong, but no, we don't have to have the same opinion, which is fine. I think that having 2 models that cause terror to begin with is really, really good. I mean, the only thing I think that the starting company is missing is a model that's got a 2-handed weapon. I mean, that would be nice, but I think that like the way that I would probably run them, I would have my 2 Numenorians backed up. They'd go around with a Mordor Orc with spear behind, so you've got a couple of attacks in each of those couple of units there, and then the Orcs with shields would go around with the Orcs with bows behind them, so you've got some defense 5 in your front rank with the Orc bows shooting over their shoulders. I mean, I think that's as an 8, that's pretty tasty. Obviously, it depends on the scenario. Look, we spoke about show of strength. If you got show of strength and you've got a fight 4 leader that's defense 6 that causes terror, I'd take that.
Yeah, no, yeah, you are right. And then, yeah. I thought, yeah. It's just the Orcs that do it for me.
Have you ever played with Orcs?
I need to play Orcs. I need to play with and I need to play against Orcs. I don't really value them, I don't think I've ever...
You're just looking at the numbers.
I'm looking. The thing is, like, the courage is 2, fight 3, 5+, strength 3, defense 4. Like, you can increase their defense, but the fight is low. Like, I mean, it's the same fight as humans, isn't it? Fight 3, so they're not. Yeah, so but there are other stronger ones to start with, and would I want to use or lose a hero upgrade just on I'd rather go from a 4 to a 5 on fight value than a 3 to a 4. It's almost like, oh, welcome to the club. You've now joined the average fight values. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing on them. I suppose the only other thing is you get numbers. With Orcs, you always get numbers to start with, So as long as you swarm and you fight in that kind of manner with numbers, you're going to do well. But I think if you don't use the number, it's that's why you have the numbers. They are numbers to start with. But yeah, and I suppose, like I said, in this company, back end of it, if you got the numbers and then you got the Black Numenorians, you got the Death Marsh Spectres causing terror and stuff, the orcs, those 6 orcs alone are just going to run and tie things up. Like, you know, they'll harass, like, you know, and they would have had their own improvements. 1 or 2 of them might be on a path of the warrior, you know, as we go along, and they'll have gained some other bits and pieces. So, like, you know, they will come useful. Yeah, that's my view on it. Like,
Okay, just to be slightly controversial, I might even have my sergeant as a sorcerer. Have a sorcerer and a minstrel.
I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the sorcerer path. The only thing is that there's no attacks upgrade and there's no strength upgrade, but
yeah,
there is. Yeah, and terrifying aura is not a great thing when you've got terror anyway. So maybe not, but yeah, I'm basically I just want to play every single day with a new company. And every single day of the week, I get to use a different company, play a few games, and then the following week I get to use that company again on the same day. Yeah, I think that was really, really. I'm gonna give them an 8 out of 10. I think there's a smidge below Mordor, but not a lot because of all of the special rules and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sticking with.
No, I think to me, I'm starting. They're still as a starting company. They're a 6 out of 10 with the potential going to an 8 out of 10. So that's it. That's I sit on that. That is the hill I stand on. That is. I'm going with that. But I do think this is an interesting company to start with, or like a second company to get into. I am interested. I like it. I think the only other thing that is a bit of a downside on it, again, that's just where Games Workshop's let down battle companies, is just the models. I was just looking at the models to get hold of them. Like, you know, it's like if you're going for Games Workshop, you know, you get Morgul Knights, you get a Black Numenorian to Morgul Knight. It's £27.50 for 6 Morgul Knights, like, you know, and you're only going to get a couple of them. Like, you know, it's a shame.
I'm happy. I paid. You know what? No, 90% of the models that I've got are 3D prints. I bought the Morgul Knight box set like 6 for 25 quid or whatever it was. I'm happy paying £4 to £5 for a Cav model. Yeah, that's not too bad. Have they got Black Numenorians on there?
No.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So there are some really nice 3D printed Black Numenorians. That's what I've got for mine.
They've got the Dead Marsh Spectres. They don't have the Morgul Stalkers. They don't have the Black Numenorians. They got the Morgul Knights, and obviously you got the Mordor Orcs. I think like this one, if I was to do it, I'd just go full 3D print on it. You know, just get all of it 3D printed. That's again the 3D printed community and the community rules are the one thing that keep battle companies going well. I think.
Yeah, so. Games Workshop certainly isn't. Anything else left to say on any of it?
No, I think that's that. I think I need to re-listen and find out why I did value Mordor. I need to be listening to that because I remember being quite highly excited about Mordor, and I'm forgetting why I was excited about Mordor.
Because it's got really awesome
advancements.
Yeah, it's got like look just to kind of reiterate how good Minas Morgul is. You start with 2 Black Numenorians, yeah?
Yeah.
Black Numenorians are the 6 and then a 6 upgrade or reinforcement roll on Mordor. So
yeah.
And you get 2 of them to start with. I mean, I'd argue that a Black Guard is better than a Black Numenorian, but you know, anyway, don't need to cover that ground again. Yeah, but Minas Morgul, really, really solid company that I just desperately want to get out and roll dice with immediately. But no, they'll have to wait for another day.
You know what I think? Minas Morgul for me, and this is this campaign day that we're coming up, might be a company that I would pick for that. You know, to get to push them through a whole day's campaign, like, you know, and see how much I could get out of them. Have a plan in my head and push hard on it, like, you know, because I think that, you know, from the start of that campaign, and what would be interesting is having that 1 day or 2 day campaign if you played it, and how everyone was playing against you at the start, and suddenly they're like, oh, we've got a new person, and then you suddenly all these other special rules that are coming in, then people will be a bit more like, oh my, oh, ow, ooh, what? I thought I was playing against a bunch of orcs earlier, like, you know, so it's that kind of thing, isn't it? So I like that idea. So
Yeah. Wow.
excellent.
Right. Well, it may be. We've been in email contact with the lovely people who have written the community rules, and we should be having some special episodes coming up where we have discussions on them, and they've already like blown my mind with a couple of their suggestions about how to run particular things. So yeah, looking forward to those. That might be myself and Stephen and them, or it might just be myself and them, depending. 'Cause I'm a lot less busy than Stephen, because Stephen's got a grown-up job and I haven't.
Yeah, I work during the day.
I work, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see. But the next episode that just myself and Stephen will be, well, we'll be going through the next scenario, whatever that one is. And the companies that we'll be doing will be Isengard, who you've had something to say about.
Yes.
And the good company might be Rohan. I have to following my list down. Yes, so Rohan and Isengard. So two companies you know an awful lot about.
I do indeed. So Rohan was my first company I started, and Isengard is a company I'm currently playing with at the moment. So I enjoyed both of them. If I was to redo Rohan, I would definitely have a different way of doing them to make better use of them. But yeah, we'll go through that on the next episode.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us for the Good Enough Battles Company podcast. My name is Chris Piercy from Good Enough Scenery, joined as ever by Stephen from When I Can Hobby. And if you're looking for Good Enough Scenery, then head to goodenoughscenery.com, and maybe, just maybe, I'll make you a modular board. They're awesome.
His boards are amazing. You need them. I've got one. I love it.
He loves it. All right, I'll catch you for an episode very soon.
Cheers. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.